All right. Hello, guys. Happy Sunday. I am so excited that we are doing this tonight. For those of you guys that don't know me, or maybe you are very new to the team, welcome. My name is Ashley Walmer, and I am a triple diamond. I live in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and I've been in for about 3 years. And I am so excited tonight because I have somebody very special that has decided to be on with us tonight. He is a part of an accountability group that Cami Dempsey put together, and as soon as he joined, everything just went to that next level, right? Just having a guy and his perspective of just his experience in the industry and what he's doing in this business. You guys, I'm so excited for you to learn from TJ tonight. He is incredible, and I'm so excited. I can't wait. So welcome. Thank you so much, TJ, for being on with us this evening.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for putting this together.
Yeah, for sure. So, okay, a little bit of background for everybody so you guys can kind of understand how and why the Zoom even got brought together. I started doing keto in October. I did it for like 2 or 3 weeks, and it was going amazing. I loved it, felt great. And then my birthday hit, and then it was Thanksgiving and Christmas. And I was like, you know what? I'm not going to set myself up for failure. I'm just going to like push pause, wait till the new year, wait till all of our new products come out. And I've been loving it so far. But I've also been struggling with the fact that I did my own research. You know, Cami Dempsey is a family friend. Watching what her dad went through, I just realized and knew that we needed to get on board with this. My husband unintentionally was kind of doing keto already. But if somebody were to talk to me about it or ask me about it, I didn't feel like I knew exactly what to say to them. And so I just wanted to pick TJ's brain tonight about a couple of things. He is amazing at being able to market this on social media. And so if you guys have questions as we're going through this, you can just throw them in the chat as well. But I know I would love it if you could just kind of introduce yourself before we get started, tell a little bit about your story, why you said yes to It Works, and then we can kind of jump into all the keto stuff.
All right. Absolutely. All right, guys. Hello, I'm TJ Markiewicz. I'm a triple diamond with It Works. I've been in the business for coming up on 3 years here in August. Hold on a second. It's really weird looking at myself on this thing. I got a big face. All right, that's better. Okay, so let's see here. So before It Works, I was the general manager of the Palms Pool and Day Club over here at the Palms Hotel and Casino. I had an executive role, so I had the suit and tie. Came out to Las Vegas with ambition and goals and dreams and stuff like that, and this is what I want to do. So it's kind of like my dream job. 7 months into it, my position was eliminated, so I had no job. So I went from literally having a great salary, great benefits, all this stuff. Now I literally had nothing, no severance, nothing. So for the first time in my life, I collected unemployment, which humbles you very quickly. And so in that time, I was looking for a job. And in that time, job searching, It Works came into my life. My sponsor was like, hey, you know, I found something that we can do. It's going to help us. It's going to get us out of debt. You know, I see this. So I was so excited. I'm like, okay, I can't wait to hear about it. So then, you know, she told me about it. And I was like, yeah, I've never done sales before. Like, I have no idea what I'm going to do. I haven't marketed anything. Like, I'm operation. You know, I've worked as a laborer, all kinds of other jobs, but never sales or any of these things. So that was a whole new world for me. So at first I was kind of skeptical, and I'm like, I don't know if I can do this sales thing. I don't know about this crazy rap thing, any of those things. So it took me about 6 months to actually start working my business. Okay, so I was watching, I was observing, but there weren't a lot of men in the business. So I had to watch and observe the females, like the females. And like I said, 6 months in, I went to conference. And so when I went to conference, I started seeing that there were men there. And these men were supporting their women, and they were kind of working the business, but I didn't really see any men there that were actually working the business. So for me, I was like, this is amazing. Like, there's these women, these strong, independent women, all these women are out there doing big things, but there's no guys out there doing this. So I'm like, I got to do this. Like, I want to be up on stage with these women. I want to be the guy that does it. So from there on out, I came back. That was February, a little over 2 years ago. That was February. And then I came back, and then I double promoted. So I made it to double diamond that next month in March. And then a couple months after that, I made it to triple diamond. And that's where I sit right now, about to be presidential, though.
That's right.
So yeah, it's just been a learning process, and I just learn and absorb as much as I can, and I just try to stay as consistent as possible and just try to share, be loud and proud about my business. And that's just, that's a little bit of my story.
Perfect. I love it. Love it. Love it. Okay. So when people start messaging you, asking what you're doing for weight loss, or obviously you're very loud on social media about being keto, where do you start with them? I think sometimes people get lost in knowing like what to say, how to say it. So where do you start?
Okay. So, I mean, it does depend on what they say and how they reach out to you, but basically, if I'm going to put it into like one kind of thing, I just kind of tell them that I'm just on a ketogenic diet. What I'm doing is I'm using my body's own fat as a fuel source instead of carbohydrates as a fuel source. And then usually they'll kind of be like, well, what does that mean? How does that work? And me, I've been in this health thing. I've loved health ever since my father pushed it on me and stuff as a child, and I've always eaten healthy and worked out and all that stuff. But at 26 years old was kind of like an enlightening moment for me, and like an enlightening moment in time in my life. Because at 26, I watched a documentary on paleo. And then from that documentary I watched on paleo, I literally just went into research mode. Like, I was so intrigued at the human body and the foods that you can put in it and how they affect you and how they affect your mood, how they affect your brain development, how you can burn fat, how you can build muscle. So what I did was I just started researching everything that I possibly could as to how the body works and how it works with the proper nutrition and without the proper nutrition. And then the American diet and all kinds of stuff. I looked into paleo and Atkins and ketogenic and high carb and high protein and all kinds of things just to try to put together something that's going to work for my body, And a ketogenic diet worked well for my body because, I mean, I'm going to be real. Like, I carried a spare tire for a long time, and I was like, I'm kind of skinny fat. Like, how do I get rid of this? I can't get rid of this. I don't know how to get rid of this. And the problem is that I was eating carbs and fats. So back to the original topic, when I'm explaining this to people, I explain it to them like this. You have two gas tanks, right? Your body is a machine. It has two gas tanks. One tank is for carbohydrates or glucose. The other gas tank is for fat. So if you eat like pizza, which has cheese and bread, you have fats and then you have carbohydrates. If you eat a piece of pizza, you're filling up both your gas tanks. Now, your body can only run off one gas tank at a time. So if you're using only the carbohydrate gas tank, the fat gas tank is just going to sit there and it's going to store and store and store. So until you deplete that carbohydrate gas tank, then your body will start to use the fat as energy. Does that make sense?
Yes, I love that analogy. That's like perfect.
Good. So in order to get in this tank for the fat burning, you have to use up all the carbohydrates first. Like, that's basically plain and simple. Your body only runs on two fuels. And the most important thing with that is this is also something I tell people. There are only two essential nutrients, macronutrients in your life that you need to survive. Without them, you cannot survive. And those are proteins and those are fats. Carbohydrates are not an essential nutrient to survival, which means you can literally go your whole life and not eat another carbohydrate in your life, and you will survive. And you will probably thrive, to be honest with you. So I just stress it to everybody that I possibly can without getting too passionate or too like researchy technical terms and stuff. But your body is an incredible machine. And if you understand the fuel that you're putting into it, you're going to see these changes and you're going to start seeing, what your body is truly capable of. And you're going to start functioning at like this extremely intense, amazing level, like the most optimal level of your life, because it all has to do with what you're putting into your body.
I love that. Okay, so when people are reaching out to you and asking you what you're doing, you just kind of educate them a little bit. You're simplifying with that analogy before you're really getting into products. I love that because I think that that's where like I've struggled, and I know some people too. Obviously, I know why I'm doing keto, but to be able to articulate that to somebody else when they're asking those questions. Okay, so then how are you bringing up products when you're discussing keto? So if someone reaches out, you kind of describe what the ketogenic diet is, and then where do you go from there? Like, how are you introducing then it works?
So before I recommend anything, I ask them what their goals are. Because before I can recommend a product for you to use, I need to know where your head's at, what your plans are, what goals you have, what you're trying to accomplish with this diet. If it's weight loss, if it's trying to tone up, if you're trying to gain muscle, if you're trying to lose fat and gain muscle. Like, I need to know exactly what you're doing, because I have people that reach out to me that want to lose 20 pounds. I have people that reach out to me that want to lose 90 to 100 pounds. So the products are going to differ based on And so is the length of time on what your goals are. So once I find out what your goals are, then I can start assessing what you're going to need to do and use in order to achieve those goals.
Okay. I love that. So you're asking them questions. You're asking them what their goals are, what they're wanting to use, and go from there. Okay. So let's just say, for example, you're posting about keto coffee. I think sometimes people are having a hard time like upselling. So if I'm talking to somebody about keto coffee, how do I bring up the greens, or how do I bring up fat fighters or thermofit? How are you doing that?
Okay. So, the keto coffee, I basically say the keto coffee has macronutrients in it. Okay, so greens are micronutrients. So macronutrients are carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. Those are your macronutrients. Your micronutrients are anything from your electrolytes, like your potassium, magnesium, sodium, all that stuff, down to, all the yucca roots and all the extracts and all that green tea stuff and matcha and all that. So those are kind of like micronutrients. Okay? So when I'm talking to somebody about keto coffee, I'm telling them, this is a macronutrients. This is like eating a good fat meal, because there's fat, high quality fats in there. There's grass-fed butters in there. There's medium chain triglycerides in the keto coffee. And so these are things that your body can break down. It's evolved to break it down the best way, very bioavailable. And it gives you a sustained, it sustains your energy throughout the day without any the blood sugar levels, because that's what happens when you drink coffee with sugar. Your energy level rises, your blood sugar level rises, and it drops. And then you drink another one, it goes up, and then it down. So I tell them about the keto coffee first. You want to have that first initial macronutrient of all that fat in there, so your body has fuel to work off of. And you need micronutrients too for your cells. So in order for your body to function optimally, it's just like, instead of taking a multivitamin, drink your greens. It's the same thing.
Okay, perfect. So what are some other products that you feel like, as you're outside of greens, when you're talking to people about the keto products, what other things are you like recommending that they get on, and how are you going from like keto to those?
Okay. So like I said, I literally spend a good amount of time figuring out what they're trying to accomplish, right? Because the biggest part about my business is I want to have before and afters, and I want to have successful reviews, because that helps my business grow. So I have a very personal relationship with all my loyal customers, and I have a lot. So it's like, I'm always following up. I'm always checking in every single month. I check in, I make sure how they're doing, how their progress is. If they have issues, I'm like, did you take a photo? Have you weighed yourself? Have you been taking them consistently? Have you been utilizing the directions? Have you been following the directions? All these things. And I'm sorry, I got thrown off track there. What was the original question?
Honestly, I think like where you're going is like the fact that you build such a personal relationship with everybody that you're talking to, and you're asking them questions so I said, like, what other products are you recommending with the keto products?
Yes. So, okay. Yes. So, they do come off, they want the keto coffee, they want the green stuff like that. So then I just start incorporating other things that are similar to those, that are just going to kind of complement whatever that product is and whatever their goals are. So say they need more energy, right? Because they're sluggish and all that stuff, and they bought the keto coffee. Well, then I'm going to throw in there, maybe you should try some Confianza, or maybe you should try some Thermophyte. Like, these things have, small amounts of caffeine. They have adaptogens in there. There's things in there that are going to help you. And you don't know what's going to be the best for you until you try everything. And the thing is, then I just try to make it as simple as possible. Like, you're on an auto ship already. Just throw it on there for 1 month and see how you like it. If you like it, then you could continue to do it. If you don't like it, you just take it off next month. I try to just break it down as simply as possible. And then people, they respect that, because they're like, you're right. It's like a rational, practical way of looking at it. You're right. It's 1 month. And what does it cost? $20 to $30 for this extra product to try it out. And I might as well see if I like it, because if I do like it, it's just going to enhance my goals, and I'm going to achieve them faster.
I love it. Okay. So do you feel like people that are not on keto would benefit from taking our keto products? And like, how are you talking to people that are not keto about these products?
Okay, so this is a tough one. This is tough. Okay. So it's hard for me, because I understand how that works. The thing is, if you have any carbohydrates or glucose in your system, a ketogenic diet isn't going to really benefit you that much. What you're doing is you're using our products, which have fats and electrolytes and all these things in there, to stimulate fat burning. But when you're not burning fat, because you're still using carbohydrates as energy, it just gets stored. So like it's a tough situation. The thing is the products, they have high quality fats, right? So it's like it's not like omega-6s and trans fats and all these things. So your body's going to utilize them greatly. You know, it's like it's a great source of energy. But the thing is if you're not burning that energy is just going to get stored. So I try to tell them, I try to explain ketogenic to them, try to explain a lighter carbohydrate intake, because I feel that they can really benefit, to show them and explain to them how they can benefit from a ketogenic and from the ketogenic products that we offer.
Okay, so if they're not on keto and they're asking you about the products, you do kind of go into a little bit of the benefits of being on a ketogenic diet.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what's interesting for me is I've been starting to use the ketones every single morning, and I was telling a couple of girls on my team, I feel like almost the same like rush of energy, not rush of energy, but that good feeling that you get from the greens. When I first started taking greens, I just felt like I didn't need coffee. I was good to go for the day. And I get that good, like mental focus right away in the morning. Now, do the ketones, they don't have fat in it, do they? Would that be something?
Right. 100% right. So that's a good product to offer somebody who's not on a ketogenic diet. The keto coffee, I would try to, the creamer, all that stuff that has the macronutrients in it, I wouldn't recommend that off the bat. Now, if they want to dabble in keto, or if they just want the sustained energy, the thing about the ketones and the keto go is it's packed with electrolytes. And so what electrolytes do is they stimulate the BHB. I mean, Dr. Don talks about all this stuff. And you need electrolytes because when you're on a ketogenic diet, wow, it's going to get really, I'm trying not to get as nerdy as possible on you guys now.
Totally
Basically, you need electrolytes when you're on a ketogenic diet. So the thing is people say they hit this keto wall, or they feel the keto cold or keto flu or whatever it's called. And the thing is that's just low electrolytes. That's either low electrolytes or low fat content. So the thing is these electrolytes give you natural energy, because your muscle, an electrolyte is exactly what it is. It's an electrolyte. So your body needs these electrolytes in order to make electric connections for your muscles, for your brain. Everything has like pulses and stuff, and it needs to be activated. And these electrolytes help do that. And when you're deficient in them, and when you don't have enough of them, you're going to get sluggish. So the ketones and the keto go are really good for people who need that energy. And that's probably why you're feeling that energy when you take them.
Okay. Somebody had said, how would you recommend, or what would you tell people that are working out and getting up at 5 a.m. to take the ketones right away? Yes.
Ketones first. Yeah, absolutely. And then keto go is just, the thing is I kind of look at them, they're both kind of very similar, right? So the ketones is kind of like greens in the tub, and the keto go is like greens on the go, because they are both just packed with electrolytes. There's just varying amounts of electrolytes. One has more potassium, the other one has more magnesium, whatever. So the thing is the ketones, though, have more potassium and more electrolytes. So after a fast, your break fast, after that, you have your ketones, and that'll replenish all your electrolytes you just lost during the night's sleep, okay? And then you can go on with your day, and then when your energy starts to wane or whatever, after you work out, then you can pop that keto go, and that'll replenish your ketones, that'll replenish your electrolytes, and that'll get you back in.
Okay.
Does that make sense? I'm trying to explain it like the most simple way, but it is very hard.
You're doing a good job. Totally. Absolutely. I think it was interesting, Dr. Don at conference, like he can get really geeky too. And I used to be an esthetician. So what's interesting is when I first started, I could talk about the wrap and like all of our facial products, like exfoliating peel, and just like rolled off my tongue. And my entire team was very like intimidated by that. They're like, we can't talk about the wrap like you. And I'm like, don't talk about the wrap like me. It's okay. But I now understand what they're feeling, because I'm like, okay, I love keto, I'm loving it, but I don't know how to like articulate it. So no, you're doing an awesome job of kind of breaking it down. So I think a big question too is like, how are you marketing this on social media? If you could give us a couple of tips and tricks to like market keto, and if like, for those of us, I mean, I have a couple girls on here that have lost over 25 pounds from keto, that have people reaching out to them daily about what they're doing. So what would be a few like tips of like how to get loud on social media about this?
First of all, you have to be a product of the product. I mean, this is huge, you guys. So the thing is you have friends and followers on Facebook and Instagram because they're interested in you, in your life, and what you're doing. They don't want to see pictures and hear about other people's success stories. They want to hear and see pictures of your success stories. They want to see if you're doing it. You know, if you're leading by example, if you're doing what you're projecting out there and what you're telling you, are you following that same routine? Are you using the products that you're trying to sell? You know, the biggest thing is set up that ADBV auto ship and try the products out. And then and stay consistent and get the results and then post about it. The biggest thing for me right now, and I'm eating right and I'm on a ketogenic diet and I'm moderately working out 4 to 5 times a week. And they're like, you know what? You know, I'm kind of inspired to do the same thing, or I'm inspired to try this out. And then start reaching out to you. And that's how it works for me. That's how I just try to tell everybody about it. I try to tell everybody about what I'm doing. The thing is you're not going to be able to build relationships and sell a product if you're not using it and doing what you're trying to sell yourself. So the thing is you have that, it all just comes down to being a product of the product.
Okay, I love that. And I know one of the things that somebody was asking was when you are being a product of the product and you're talking about these products, what are some ways that, I think because keto can be kind of wordy, and like you said, you're trying not to get geeky on us right now, like, right? So what are some good things that people can do when they're talking about the products that are going to catch people's attention right away without like throwing up all over them in a post?
You want to start burning your own body's fat as fuel?
Okay.
You want to shed some fat? Yeah, it's like any type of wording like that, because that's what ketogenic diet is. So it's just, you know, if you, I mean, I put on there before, have you ever burned fat? Have you ever burned fat drinking a morning cup of coffee? So it's like, and then you make a poll with that. On your Instagram, you can make a poll, be like, how would you like to burn fat drinking keto coffee? How would you like to burn fat learning? How would you like to burn fat on a ketogenic diet? Who here wants to learn about a keto diet? You know, that's the whole thing. Who wants to burn fat naturally? Who wants their body to burn fat naturally? So you can do any of these things, and then you can just incorporate the products. Same with the ketones. You can post about the ketones and be like, have you guys ever heard about ketosis? How would you like to burn fat drinking a cup of ketones in the morning? Just how it is. Because a ketogenic diet is all about burning fat. So anything you want to say about burning fat, you know, how about in the thing is you could be like, put a little keto creamer in your cup of stuff in the morning and burn some fat. Like just anything like that, because that's what it's doing. Any of the products, when you're in a ketogenic diet, you're taking ketogenic products, your body's going to start burning fat as fuel.
Okay, I love this because you're just keeping it super simple and you're eye-catching. I hope you guys are like taking notes because you guys, this is super, super good. Sometimes, yes, when we talk about scripts and being wordy, you guys, we can throw up all over people if you're sending them a message about the business, right? But just do something super simple. Ask a question. You guys are going to get engagement from that, whether it's on Facebook or Instagram. I love that you said ask a question and make a poll. Okay, let me look through some of our other questions because I know you have kind of answered some along the way. Biggest one is when people are reaching out to you, and maybe I know you're probably going to be different than everybody. So how would you, I'm going to ask you this like this, how would you teach your team to do this? If somebody is reaching out to us about what we're doing, are you helping them like set up macros and talking to them about like recipes, or like how are you guiding them through that? Because I think I'm not a Beachbody coach, right? Like, so how are you doing that, and how are you coaching your team to do that?
So that's basically all on.
Oh, you know what? You're breaking up.
That's on a personal, individual level. So if you want to take it above and beyond, and you want.
I can't. Can anybody else hear?
Hang on a second.
It keeps breaking up.
How about now?
That's better. Are you back? Oh no.
Yes, I'm not sure.
I can hear like every fifth word. Okay, sounds good. All right, guys, I'm going to take Spotlight over while he's logging out. I hope you guys are loving this. I'm loving watching all of your guys' comments on here. And keep throwing questions in here if you guys have questions as we're going through this. Okay, TJ, when you get back, just unmute yourself.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I'm like lagging, I think. This is weird.
I know for a while, you know how like it shows like the bars, it was like all red. Oh, there you go. Oh, there you are. Okay. Okay.
Are we back?
Yes.
I think we're back.
I think we're back.
Excellent.
Okay.
Excellent.
So you were saying, what were we talking about? Sorry, I'm so like squirrel. Oh, setting people up with like macros. Like, how are you helping them coach through that?
That's for me, that's on a personal basis. So however strong and however strong you want to build this relationship with your loyal customers, basically is how far above and beyond you're going to go with your loyal customers. So for me, I just tell them, if you want to know any tips on what you can eat, if you want to really follow a keto diet, like I'm not going to break down a macronutrient, a metabolic rate, all these things. So it's like, I'm not a dietitian, you know, I'm here for, sorry, this thing's telling me my internet connection is horrible.
Yeah,
Can you guys still hear me?
I can hear you better now, yeah. But like your little, where it says your name, like those bars are like all red. Oh no, I think we lost you again. You still there? Can anybody else hear him? No. TJ, let me know if you get back on. So until he joins us, you guys, I think what he was trying to say is it kind of just depends on the person. And what he means by that is it depends on you guys, how comfortable you feel with talking to people about that. Like he said, he's not a dietitian. I'm not a dietitian. Most of you guys aren't dietitians. So if you are comfortable articulating, you know, what macros are and what that looks like, what I've been doing is I have an app that I keep everything on. I just screenshot that to them and I say, this is how I'm keeping track of my macros. It's super easy. Remember about the What the Fit app, get them onto that. And then I just tell people honestly, like for recipes and stuff, I've used Pinterest so much and just push them back to that. And I don't feel like I've really gotten anybody on the keto diet necessarily. I've signed customers with, you know, our keto products because of my results, because like he said, being a product of the product, when you're using those products, I know Stephanie Smith has lost over 25 pounds and she was saying she has people reaching out to her every single day. So I know that this Zoom specifically, you guys, is about keto. But like he said, find a product that you love and use it and be loud about it and consistent with it, because when you're talking about your results, and if somebody's reaching out to you and say, hey, you know, you were posting about the hair, skin, and nails. Have you tried it? Have you used it? Let me show you my picture. You're just going to have bigger wins with those people instead of just sending them other people's results. So let me see if he is back on. Okay. Are you there, TJ?
Yes. Can you guys hear me?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right. Sorry, I had to get on my phone. Okay.
So the macronutrients and stuff like that is basically up to you guys. So the way I look at it is, you know, I don't want to do a basal metabolic rate or BMR for these people and find out like how many calories and all this stuff they need to do. So what I do is I just try to tell them like a list of foods that I would eat or that are keto friendly, or just small changes in their diet for throughout the day that they can make. And then I explain to them kind of like intermittent fasting and how that works. And like I said, I try to keep it as simple as possible. I just tell myself every time I talk to somebody, I say KISS, KISS. So it's keep it simple, stupid. Because it's like, I'm trying not to get too crazy on people, but that's completely up to you. If you want to write them a list of their macros and what they can take or not, I just basically tell them, I like the 75, 20, and 5%, 75% fats, 20% protein, and 5% carbohydrates. And then I just tell them just to follow that.
Yeah, I love that. I love it when you said keep it simple, stupid, because you guys, if a kindergartner can't understand what you're saying to them, chances are somebody might not either. Okay, so right. How are you explaining, because most of our keto products are only 15 days. So how are you explaining that? Because I know a lot of our products are 30 days. Are you getting people to order 2 of them if they are wanting to be on a month supply? Kind of how are you navigating that?
So I haven't had any feedback, like negative feedback about people as far as it's not a full 30-day supply. So I haven't really run into that yet. But when I do, I'm just going to kind of explain to them how, the keto coffee right now is kind of just for maybe like every other day, or, on days when you're feeling sluggish or you're not getting that proper nutrition. Because once again, you guys, we're selling supplements. These are supplements. They're there to supplement your diet. So these people should be eating a healthy diet. And then if they're not, the products are there to supplement that for them. So, if they say anything about 15 days instead of 30, I tell them, these products are of high quality. They're great ingredients, all these things, and they're just to be taken as a supplement. And then I'll see what they say.
Yeah, I had one lady that asked and said, I noticed that most of your products are 30 days. Why are these 15? I was like, well, sometimes people don't take them every single day. I know for me on the weekend, sometimes I don't take them. So that's kind of how I've been. And I've only had it once too. So,
right.
Okay. So one last question I have, and then I know that there's a couple in the chat. So when you're talking to people about their goals and you're asking them questions about, what are your weight loss goals? When they say weight loss, I've always gone right to the packs. First it was system, and then, we came out with the Fit Pack 5, 15, and 30. And if you're talking about keto, are you trying to get them on all the keto products, or are you getting them on like a mix? Where is your go-to with that?
I am always the biggest fan of the triple threat. That is the triple threat. That is my baby right there. So I tell them Fat Fighters, Thermophyte, and the greens. And then I tell them, and then I'll start incorporating keto products in there and explaining to them the ketogenic diet combined with the triple threat. But I mean, I've been doing this. The triple threat is my #1 weight loss thing sold. So I just stick with what works for me. And I can explain it easy, and people get results from it. So I have all those before and after pictures, all the result pictures, all the customer reviews I have. So it's easy for me to show them that it works too.
I love that because it's probably really good BV too.
Yes, it's very good BV.
I love that. That is awesome. Okay. It was funny because I was talking to somebody about keto coffee on Friday, and she really said her goal is, 15, 20 pounds. And I asked her what her budget was, because that's another question, you guys, when you're talking to them, before you recommend a ton of products, ask what their budget was. And she said, my budget is whatever I want it to be because I need to lose this 15 pounds. And honestly, I was like, oh, I wish I could text TJ right now, because I don't know where to go with, do I get her on keto or do I recommend a pack to her? So I love that. That's awesome. Okay, guys, so I know that I saw a question here about something about sugar. Let me scroll up, and obviously, TJ, if you see any in the chat. Oh, how do you explain the sugar without losing customers who are interested in keto coffee? I haven't really ran into that. Have you?
Well, what do you mean? What do you mean sugar?
I don't know. I'm wondering, Amanda, when you said sugar, what do you mean by the amount of sugar that's in it?
Because there's only 2 grams.
Sorry, hold on 1 second. I'll type it. My son's upset.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, because I'm looking at the keto right now, and there's only 2 grams of sugar in the keto coffee.
So Amanda, when you said the sugar, I guess maybe are you running into people asking why is there sugar in the keto coffee? Because there's not a lot of sugar. 2 grams is totally fine with the ketogenic diet.
And that's coming from the lactose from the grass-fed butter as well. So.
Okay, so she said she's had people tell her no because of the 2 grams of sugar in the keto coffee. Wow. So you're saying that's from the grass-fed butter, so it's like a natural occurring sugar. It's not added sugar.
Right. So dairy sugar, whenever you're dealing with milk or creams or any of that stuff, is called lactose. And that's what's going to be inside the keto coffee. That's the form of sugar that it's coming in.
Yeah. So I got that answer and I had explained that to people, but they're like, it's still, I don't know. Maybe they just weren't interested enough or I said something different, but I was just curious.
Yeah, no, and that you should be curious. That's a good question. The thing is like, we just talked about, it is only 2 grams. So I understand where they're coming from when they're like, it's still sugar, but it's not like a sucralose, like a table sugar, it's literally, it's natural forming sugar in milk. So it's like, it works a little bit differently. So just try to explain to them that 2 grams is going to kick them out of ketosis, especially if they're in it. Now, if there was 15 grams of sugar in it, that would definitely kick you out of ketosis, and you'd want to stay away from that.
Okay, and somebody had asked about info sheet. You guys, if you are really feeling very uncomfortable with keto and where to start even with our products, the document library has some awesome documents where honestly, just print those out and have those right in front of you as you're talking to people. Because I know for me, like I was explaining to you guys earlier with being an esthetician, I know everything about how the wrap works. I know why it works. It just makes sense to me. And I could sit here on a Zoom just like TJ's doing with us, and you guys could pick my brain about it. And there still would be some of you that are like, you still need to have the documents laid out until you're comfortable with it. And I think for me too, the more that you talk about it, the more that you articulate, the more that you write it down, you guys. Write down maybe a couple easy things that you could say about keto. This is going to be recorded. I love TJ's analogy of the 2 gas tanks. Write down that over and over. Tell it to yourself. Practice it. And you guys are going to get comfortable with this stuff.
Yep. And like you said, the document library is a gold mine. And to be honest with you guys, that's how I explain the products to people. So I don't like to explain them off the top of my head unless I'm belly to belly with somebody. So if I'm online and somebody's asking me like, well, what are the ingredients or how does it work or what's the active ingredient or the dosage, all I do is I literally have every document downloaded on my computer from the document library for the product info sheets. And I say, I can send you a product info sheet on the product, which will answer all your questions. It has an ingredients list. And is it okay if I send you that? And every time they're like, yeah, absolutely. And then I just send it in the Facebook message and then they get it and they're like, okay, this is great. And then if they don't respond back, then you just respond back in an hour or two and you say, hey, I just wanted to see if you had time or if that went through, if you had time to check out the product info sheet and what you thought. And it's a great way to follow up with them. But I've never had a problem. And that it will explain I have to. Because your job is literally to market the product. It's not to be Dr. Don.
I love that. It's very KISS. It's very simple.
Exactly.
Okay, perfect. Well, are there any other last minute questions, you guys, for TJ? Thank you so much for doing this. Thank you. Like I said,
absolutely.
I have so many people that are killing it with keto right now. And I think we're all just kind of going, how do we articulate this to people? And how are we going to talk to them about this? It's so new. So thank you so much for taking time away from your night and your team to pour into us and answer some of these questions.
Absolutely, Ashley. Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, for sure. All right, guys. Well, I hope you guys have an awesome night and a good rest of the last bit of this weekend. And we've got 6 days left. All right. Thank you, TJ. Bye, guys. Bye, everyone.
Take it easy, guys.